Esther Noir, so good to be back with you, talking to you in a context that's very near and dear to my own heart, the Are We There Yet project capturing the evolving new now and learning at ShapingEDU, Arizona State University. I'm looking forward to the conversation because you're one of those wonderful people that, for lack of a better term, is a lifelong learner. You are on faculty there at Chapman. I'm looking at my notes here, messing it up, of course, working in the library. You've also been involved in a wonderful project that we've talked about in other contexts, the California Library Association, developing leaders in California libraries. So let us look at you as an educator, a teacher, trainer, learner, and all those aspects. Let's start by going back to the beginning of the pandemic and just get a basic framework of what were you experiencing with your learners when you found out that everything needed to shut down and quickly pivot in March of 2020?
Thank you so much, Paul, for the introduction. I'm equally excited to be with you today. And it seems like a long time ago now, 3 years into the pandemic. Yeah, well, we're still actually, I would say, reaping the benefits of the pandemics. Some people don't think it was a benefit, but I think having that virtual platforms that we're using right here and now and in many other contexts is definitely a benefit. Although it was scary, it was unexpected, and it was it made everybody stressed. But I think we had that thing in our hearts that we needed to survive. As learners, as teachers, as parents, we wanted to survive, and we wanted to make sure that there's some sort of a normality in our lives and also our students and kids' lives. So I think we pivoted really quickly, and I'm hearing many organizations that did very well. And I think in a week, at least in the libraries, we were completely remote.
And it raises a theme that's come up with a few of the other people I've interviewed so far in this series, the idea of our shifting views of what a classroom is and our learning spaces are. How have your own feelings evolved, your own perceptions of learning spaces evolved as a result of suddenly the libraries in your living room?
I have to be honest, right? I could tell you, I could paint a rosy picture and say, oh my God, the learning experience was amazing and the students were so engaged and it was wonderful. It wasn't. I know we all tried our best, but talk to a professor at UCLA and a professor even at a community college or at the kindergarten level, every single one will say it was awful. So hopefully, again, I mean, I'm someone that did a lot of my education online, especially my master's in library and information sciences, but I was older, right? But K through 12, undergrad, those are really important times. It was convenient for me to have that, ability to do my master's online, but I was in a different stage of my life.
You brought a real breath of fresh air to the whole conversation that's ongoing here in the Are We There Yet project, because we keep looking for the benefits that are coming out of it, saying what things do we want to hang on to. You're
Yeah.
pointing out a really sort of dark side of this, of a couple of years where people were not doing so well. What are we learning about how we're going to have to recover for those that did not do so well during this period?
I think recovering, you can check any mental health facility all across the world and across the country. They're packed. Really, they're packed. I mean, the kids were affected, people were affected. There's an overflow of people needing mental health assistance because of the effect of the pandemic. And it's not like, families didn't care for their kids, but it's just the disruption that we've seen. And also, in addition to the pandemic itself, we've seen a lot of political changes. So it was heated politics across the world in addition to the pandemic. So, sometimes you think like that kids or young adults don't necessarily think about these things, but they actually do. It's in their memory or unconscious memory. And, with all the social media platforms, it's not even Facebook or Instagram, it's the TikTok and Snapchat. They see everything. And unfortunately, they cite TikTok now. I mean, I was reading an article and I actually shared it with the parents here during orientation yesterday, is that TikTok is the #1 search engine for the students these days. They were literally almost citing TikTok, and that's where they get their information. And so we're not just fighting Google, as with all my respect to Google as a company, of course, but as a source of information, but we're fighting TikTok. And I'm not saying TikTok is a bad thing. Actually, there's a lot of people that are using TikTok in a brilliant way. In fact, I've seen some librarians use TikTok in such an innovative manner to, again, reach to the students and show them how to, evaluate information and all that good stuff. But the students and the young adults and the kids, they see everything on TikTok. And I was talking even to my own daughter, who's 12 the other day, about TikTok. It's like, because you can't really limit what they see. You just can't. So you're either on TikTok and you see everything, or not on TikTok and you don't see anything. So it's going to be an interesting shift, and I think we're going to see a lot of good things that are happening, because again, a lot of people use this time in such an innovative way. We've seen music that's been created, collaboration across the world, concerts on social media and on Zoom. Again, I'm a huge believer in the human beings, and I feel like human beings are just brilliant, and they're able to pivot and work together in such a collaborative manner. But I'm also a huge believer that, that in-person contact is the most important thing. And I think, are we there yet? I don't think we're there yet, but I think we're all realizing collectively, even the younger generation, that in-person interaction will never, ever be, compensated. Right.
Yeah, staying on this theme that you've raised, I think is so interesting and useful to our peers. What are you suggesting to your peers and your learners in terms of coming out of this in a positive way and recovering from the traumas that they face in learning and in other settings?
That's a big loaded question that I
Take any part of it you want.
yeah, that's, it's, I mean, I have to deal with this, as I mentioned to you before, personally and professionally. As a mother of 3 kids, 2 of them in college and 1 is in middle school, I can see the effects of the pandemic. I mean, I tried my best, just like, parents and guardians all over the world, who did their best, but you also have to think about your own self. Sometimes as a guardian or as an adult or as a manager, you're focusing so much on your kids or your staff or your group of people, and you don't really see how the pandemic itself or the situation have affected you. So on the personal level, I actually started doing yoga for the last year, and I think it definitely helped a lot, with the meditation and mindfulness techniques that I've been using for a while anyways. Forward to.
Thank you so much for your time, your inspiration, and your insights into what we've been talking about. I look forward to many more conversations with you.